All right, let's get straight into it. Today, we're going to crack the code on a really key part of the Market Research Executive Apprenticeship, the K7 Knowledge Standard. We're going to break down everything you need to know about secondary research, and trust me, we're going to turn this tricky portfolio thing into your secret weapon.
Look, if you've ever just stared at your portfolio wondering, how on earth do I turn what I do every day into solid evidence? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. It can feel like this huge, overwhelming mountain to climb, especially with a standard that sounds as technical as K7.
So, to make this real, let's follow the story of Jody. She's a super sharp level 4 apprentice working at a retailer called Ibis Stores, but she is completely stuck on K7. She just can't figure out how to understand, develop, and then actually prove her knowledge of secondary research for her portfolio. Her journey is going to be our guide.
So Jody's journey kicks off with her manager, a woman named Riedel, who can see that she's struggling. So Riedel decides to connect the dots for her, to show her how this K7 standard on paper actually links to the real-world success of Ibis Stores. Because this isn't just about taking a box to pass an assessment, it's about being really, really good at your job.
And this is such a key moment. Rital completely reframes K7. It's not a chore, it's not just theory, it's a superpower. It's the engine that drives smart, evidence-based marketing. And maybe most importantly, it's how you avoid making really expensive guesses.
So how does the superpower actually work in the day-to-day? Well, at a place like Ibis Stores, it's all about using data that's already out there to get what customers want, to see what the competition is up to, and to build campaigns that, actually work. Every single marketing action needs a why behind it, and secondary research gives you that solid evidence, pulled from sources you can actually trust. Okay, so now that Jody gets the why, she meets her mentor, Adam. And Adam's job is to give her the toolkit, the core concepts she needs to really master K7. He's going to cut through all the jargon and give her practical tools. So let's open up that toolkit and see what's inside. First thing in the kit, the mean definition. Adam explains that secondary research, which, by the way, you'll hear called desk research all the time, isn't about going out and creating brand new studies. Nope. It's about being a detective. It's about finding clues and information that already exists to solve the problem you're facing right now. So where do you find these clues? Adam breaks it down into two main buckets. You've got your internal sources, which is this treasure trove of data that's already inside Ibis Stores. Things like sales figures, customer feedback, website traffic. And then you've got external sources, which is everything outside the company, market reports, government stats, and yeah, keeping a very close eye on what your competitors are doing online.
Now this is absolutely critical. Adam tells Jody, hey, not all sources are created equal. You have got to check for credibility. You have to ask, who wrote this? When did they write it? How did they get their information? And what's their angle here? Is there a bias? This one simple check is what separates real professional insight from just some random opinion on the internet.
And that leads us to a really cool technique called triangulation. Adam gives Jody this great analogy. Let's say a market report says raincoats are the next big trend. Okay, cool. But do your internal sales figures also show a spike in raincoat sales? And have you noticed your competitors launching a new raincoat line? See, if all three of those points agree, you've got a really solid conclusion. It's how you avoid betting the company's marketing budget on just one unverified piece of data.
So with those core ideas in her toolkit, Adam gives Jody a super clear 5-step action plan. And the whole point here is that you don't have to learn everything all at once. It's a progression. It takes you from just understanding the basics to confidently using these skills all on your own.
And here's that path. Step 1, you get the theory, the what and the why. Then you learn to spot good sources and avoid the bad ones. Next, you start practicing on real tasks, but with a bit of support. Before you know it, you're flying solo, pulling out key insights all by yourself. And then, the final crucial step. You look back, you reflect on what worked, and you figure out how you can be even better next time. It really is a ladder to mastery. All right, time for the final piece of the puzzle. Jody meets Olivia, who is her apprenticeship coach. And Olivia's role is laser-focused on one thing: helping Jody turn all this amazing work and new knowledge into powerful, tangible evidence for her endpoint assessment, the EPA.
So what does good evidence actually look like in your portfolio, say, on a platform like Aptum? Well, Olivia gives Jody this checklist. See, it's not enough to just say you did the work. You have to show it.
We're talking research summaries with all your sources cited, competitor notes with screenshots and links, slides you actually helped create, and of course, your own reflection on the whole process. This is exactly what assessors are looking for.
And honestly, this slide is pure gold. Olivia shows her the difference between a weak conclusion, which is basically just an opinion, and a strong, evidence-based one. Assessors don't really care what you think. They want to know what the evidence led you to conclude. Just look at the strong example. It's got specific data, a date, a named source. That is the game changer.
So to make sure Jody is 100% ready, Olivia runs her through some quick-fire practice questions, just like what she'll face in a real EPA. Let's try a couple together. You ready?
Okay, first up from the assessor. How did you check the credibility of your sources? Now, think back to what Adam taught us. What would you say here?
And here is a perfect model answer. It's short, it uses the right lingo like currency and triangulated, and it smartly connects an external source to an internal one. Bam! That shows real, deep understanding.
All right, next question. And this is a really important one about compliance. How did you ensure GDPR compliance when using internal data? This is all about showing that you're a responsible professional.
And there's the strong response. Using key phrases like authorized data, anonymized, and aggregated is proof that you get data protection. That's exactly what an assessor needs to hear.
So through this whole journey with her manager, her mentor, and her coach, Jody completely transformed. She went from feeling totally overwhelmed by K7 to feeling confident and competent. She doesn't see secondary research as a hurdle anymore. She sees it as a core part of the value she brings to her team. And you can too. And that brings us right to the end. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Inside your own company, in the sales data, the web analytics, the customer logs, what's the one insight just sitting there right now that could change everything? Go find it.